So much good news this week. My cup is truly overflowing with Dear Leader's bodily fluids. That's right. Welcome to another episode of News Hazard. We help you indigest the news this week so you don't have to read it and barf it back up all on your own. There was some good news this week. UCLA won an injunction restoring more than $500 million of research funding. It had been frozen by Trump, who was asking for a $1 billion settlement.
Is it just all settlements are billion-dollar settlements now? Melania's suing Hunter Biden for $1 billion because Hunter said something about Trump being a pedophile. They can only sue in units of $1 billion. Is inflation that bad? Are we being lied on that scale on the economic data?
I think that's right.
Are we actually secretly like Zimbabwe or whatever, and we don't know it yet?
Yes to
all
all
this
of the
and
above.
more on this episode of Info Hazard.
No, dude, it's just like Austin Powers, where he's like, "I'm gonna ransom the world for $1 million."
Yeah, no,
You know,
that's
it's just
nothing.
the stand-in for a lot of money to him, I guess.
Exactly, right. The point is he's suing UCLA for a bunch of money. Of course, he wants to fine them for anti-Semitism. UCLA is, of course, about as anti-Semitic as the color pink. Jews want Trump's weird pro-Jewish crusade about as much as I want a colonoscopy. UCLA's Chancellor Julio Frank, whose Jewish father fled the Nazis for Mexico, said, if these funds remain suspended, it'll be devastating for UCLA.
I feel like you're not excited enough for a colonoscopy.
Oh, that can be life-saving.
You should enjoy the privilege of a colonoscopy. It's a marvelous technology, and if you got the health insurance, then boy howdy, you can really get an early start on this sort of thing. Now, let me take about 30 more minutes of our podcast to talk to you about rectal health.
So since this is, one of the bigger victories, though, okay, it's just a judge, it'll be appealed, yada, yada. But for the time being, this is a big victory. This has unlocked $500 million of funding that is important and leads to prosperity.
They're spend it quick.
Exactly. But anyway, in celebration of this victory on the part of my alma mater, UCLA, I thought I would teach you guys the 8 clap, okay? And we're going to do it over video call, so it's going to be really well synchronized. Ready? Danny, hands.
I only have one. I'm holding the microphone.
Oh, gosh. Maybe
Just
Danny.
use your face.
Yeah, just use your face. All right. Okay, it's like a quickly speeding up 8 claps. UCLA. UCLA. Fight. Well, but it's the 8 in the beginning.
I refuse to cheer for another UC. That's not mine. It's a matter of principle.
I understand. It actually turns out this is a class action lawsuit, and the lawyer behind it.
But what is the class? UC's in Los Angeles?
I think it's UC professors or something, UC researchers. I don't know. How do you think I did that much research? Anyway, the lawyer behind it is actually a law professor at Berkeley, further fueling my UCLA inferiority complex. UCLA, we're good. We're not that good.
When it really matters, we'll call in UC Berkeley.
Danny and I, proud banana slugs.
Hell yeah,
we
dude.
go. We didn't get into Berkeley.
In other news, Eli Lilly, the drug company, is threatening to raise UK prices on a drug that I think is called Mounjaro. It's a weight loss drug. They're threatening to raise the prices by 170% in response to Trump's executive order to make the U.S. a most favored nation with our prices. Because you see, foreign countries have price controls on drugs. The U.S. Generally doesn't, because price controls are un-American, and so is good health. But so there's a question of, are the drug companies going to accommodate this order by lowering prices on Americans, or are they just going to raise them everywhere else?
I mean...
And so raise them everywhere else.
I'd have to guess. If I had to guess, I would guess they'd go for the more money option.
I mean, America is exporting again. Medical bankruptcy.
Hell yeah, dude.
Way to go, Trump.
When we're sending our experts, we're not sending our best.
Trump has deployed the National Guard to D.C. for no apparent reason.
I heard there is some serious assaults on law enforcement officers, dude.
Oh, yes. Well, we'll get...
I actually think that David and I are both going to touch on that later in the week.
We're going to do... We're sort of going to sandwich it in.
We're gonna come in from both sides and sort of we're gonna talk about the hero of that particular story.
I guess Paul Blart wasn't good enough for the National Mall.
What if they brought Paul Blart back, dude? He's stopping January 6th in his newest movie. Hollywood can have that one for free, dude.
Okay, nice.
Paul Blart 3, the Capitol Police.
Speaking of Trumpy police state douchebags, Border Patrol agents showed up at a Gavin Newsom campaign event.
I assume it was held right at the border, right? So they were in their jurisdiction.
I did get a quote. "We're trying to make LA a safer place since we don't have politicians who will do that," said the moron border guard who's trying to get promoted, surrounded by a bunch of masked incels, IQ averaging about 15. Over 100 agents were there right outside of the Japanese American History Museum in Little Tokyo in downtown LA. They apprehended one person, the notorious sushi chef, I imagine. They made LA safe by walking around like idiots.
You know what, actually, I think there's been some misreporting on this. The 100 border guards outside of the Japanese American History Museum, that was an interactive exhibit. They're trying to, show what it was like when we had the internment camps.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that
Historical reenactors, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Reenacting once in future history.
Got it. Now, this Newsom event, of course, is that he's running for president. I mean, he's starting this campaign to gerrymander California. And speaking of making us safer, that same day, a man was killed fleeing ICE agents in LA across the highway. So thanks, ICE. Feel safer already.
Don't worry. I'm sure he totally deserved it. And he was like a vicious criminal, right? Not just some guy.
In other news, Trump and Putin had a summit in Alaska. They glit, they glammed, they suckled, they simped. No deal appears to have been reached, but they got more of our attention, and that's what really matters. That's what it's about.
Stop paying attention to certain files not being released, dude. Yeah. Everyone forgot.
We literally and figuratively rolled out the red carpet for Putin.
True. All right, so...
Good thing we're not obligated to arrest him if he steps foot in the country for being a war criminal. Imagine if we had a treaty that said that, dude. How stupid we would look if he showed up and then we didn't arrest him.
This is a timeline of Trump flip-flopping on Putin. As you can see, the red bars are simpy moments. The blue bars are normal moments. A normal moment would be when an American president would speak critically of Russia as they do things like pay propagandists and spread propaganda to influence our elections or invade their neighbors who are our allies, that kind of thing. It would be normal for a U.S. president to be critical of. And so those are the rare moments that get blue.
For our listening audience, we have an event back in 2022, which is a simp. And maybe it's someone who's more zoomed in can tell me what the CPAC speech. Putin is smart. And then you got
this is right after the invasion, right? So right after they invaded Ukraine.
You're giving us the audio zoom here too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, I just got closer to my.
And then in 2023, he said at a CNN town hall, Trump, he said, "I want everyone to stop dying." Is that a simp moment? I think that's just like a charmingly naive.
I think that it's important to decode this. He talks so much about how he wants peace. All he wants is peace and peace through strength and stuff like that. The consequence of the peace that he's describing is that Russia is rewarded for invading Ukraine. Let's just stop all fighting right now and we're done. If that is the deal that was reached, then Russia has conquered large parts of Ukraine. But also he's even talking about doing land swaps and giving even more territory to Russia.
It's simpy because it's one guy comes in and slaps another guy, and the third guy's like, whoa, hey, let's not persecute anybody for slapping. Let's just stop it right here. And
he slaps him and takes his wallet. And then he's like, okay, let's stop fighting.
He's like the teacher that enables the bully.
Yes, exactly.
Indeed. And yes, the normal actions are things like in 2024, even after sort of making everyone worry that he was going to torpedo this aid bill to Ukraine, he didn't. I guess he was busy golfing or something. Anyway, there's this little phase for the last couple months where Trump was acting normal on Ukraine.
He had most recently spoken to Zelensky. He met with Zelensky in Vatican City, right? So he had most recently spoken with him, so he was on Zelensky's side. Now he's most recently spoken with Putin. We previously discussed how Trump could actually be a good president. I've come so far on this, it's really just the last person who talks to him.
Well, Yeah, I see what you're talking about. I also noticed this, but a couple points that he did have that whole shouting match in the Oval Office with
Look,
JD Vance.
if you're the
and
person,
Zelensky.
you're gonna have to put up with a lot of bullshit. Like, this is DJT we're talking about, but you could change the course of history by just being patient enough to get through all of his fucking bullshit.
Well, and the good news is Zelensky is set to meet with Trump like before this video airs, so maybe we'll be back to normal by the time this is out. While all this is going on, there is still this war going on in Ukraine. There was Pokrovsk is a city in Ukraine, and there was a pretty significant break in the line where the Russians made it all the way up to and into a major defensive line of the Ukrainians. And it kind of looked like it might turn into one of these major breakthroughs that really blows up. But Ukraine has tamped it down. Yeah, I think I'll leave it at that. Stay strong for yourself and your loved ones. Keep hunkering down. Invite your neighbors to tea, and I'm sure the news will be better next week.
Man, we can only hope.
It's been so good so far. Okay, wait, I can do better than a sarcastic remark. The news is yours. Shove it up your ass.
What?
The news is yours. Shove it up your ass.
That's what I do with everything that's mine, dude. Don't touch anything in my house.
Yeah.
Without a base, without a trace. Wait, just trying to I'm trying to bring it back to all that colonoscopy talk we had earlier.
Yeah, I think we've really hit the tail end of this video.